Finance Minister too of Malaysia, heads of delegation from Brunei, Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore and Thailand, distinguished sponsors, conference participants, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to you all. As we gather in the warm glow of this dinner, I'm reminded that our conference is built on the robust pillars of data and theory. It is truly energized by the human connections we forge. Connections that we now have the pleasure of strengthening over this wonderful meeting. If I may, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the intellectual journey we have shared today. This morning, we began by confronting the formidable headwinds governing our region. Our opening plenary session, charting ASEAN's course amidst geopolitical shocks and economic fragmentation, set a sober yet crucial tone. Our distinguished panelists painted a complex picture of a world in flux, reminding us that our regional resilience is not a given, but must be consciously and collaboratively built. This was followed by a deep dive into a very specific manifestation of these global shifts in our second plenary, ASEAN's responses to Trump's tariffs, where the panelists explored the urgent need for strategic agility and regional solidarity in our trade policies. But today was not solely about navigating external challenges. We also turn our gaze inwards to our most precious resource, our people. The session on the green economy was a powerful call to action. It challenges us to think beyond traditional capital and to invest in cognitive and mental capital, the very wellspring of innovation and sustainable competitiveness. And throughout the day, in the vibrant parallel sessions, the lifeblood of our conference flowed as researchers from across ASEAN shared the groundbreaking work, dissecting complex issues and proposing innovative solutions. None of this would be possible without the vital support of those who believe in our vision. We are deeply grateful to our diamond sponsors, MCOP Group, and our Vice President, esteemed Dr. BERJAYA, to our platinum sponsors, Koperasi Wawasan Pekerja Berhad, United Melaka Berhad, Malaysia Rating Corporation, Brand Rating, Sage Tree, and MMC Port. Our co-sponsors, BERJAYA Holdings, the Sarawak Center of Performance Excellence, SCOPE, and our past presidents, Tan Sri Dato' Sulaiman Mabok and Professor Dr. Nomar Mansur. Thank you. Your generosity is the foundation upon which this gathering stands. The discussions we started today will find the ultimate application in the digital and green transition that we will explore tomorrow. These are all interconnected strands of the same rope, the rope that will pull ASEAN towards a resilient, prosperous, and inclusive future. But before we embark on that final day, let us take this minute to truly connect. Let the conversations started in the halls continue over dinner, and let new ideas spark from informal chats. We are profoundly grateful that His Excellency Yang Berhormat Dr. Seri Amir, Finance Minister too, is gracing us with his presence this evening. To have a key architect of Malaysia's fiscal policy here among us, sharing his insights on ASEAN's economic integration and our shared future is not merely an honor, it is the highlight of our evening. His generosity with time deepens the significance of this gathering, and for that, we offer our most sincere thanks. To all of you, thank you for your engaging participation today. I wish you a delightful evening of fellowship and stimulating conversation. Thank you and selamat makan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dr. Yin Chin Yang Ling, President of the Malaysian Economic Association, representative of the Federation of ASEAN Economics Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and salam Malaysia Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to join you here tonight at a gathering that brings together some of the region's most insightful economic thinkers. The Federation of ASEAN Economic Association has for decades served as a bridge between scholarship and policy, between those who analyze growth and those who must sustain it. And the bridge feels more vital than ever today, because we meet tonight in what scholars call a multi-crisis world, an age where no challenge stays in its lead. The last few years have shown us how crises can overlap, cascade, and compound. A pandemic that halted the world to become a supply chain crisis, a war that began in one region reshaped global inflation and energy markets. Technology leaps brought breakthroughs, but also job anxieties and governance dilemmas. Climate risks are no longer forecasts. They are balance sheet realities. We used to think of shocks as episodic. Today, they're symptomatic. And yet, even in this turbulence, one region has quietly kept its footing: ASEAN. ASEAN has kept its doors open, stayed connected, and continued building bridges between markets, partners, and ideas. That balance between resilience and openness defines what I call the ASEAN way of realism. It is not the loudest way, nor the fastest that it has proven, but it has proven to be the most enduring and durable. We have no single currency, no supranational parliament, no treaty that forces conformity, and yet, through every crisis, we have stayed together. ASEAN's quiet strength lies in its ability to adapt without abandoning its principles. We compromise not because we are weak, but because we know our diversity is our collective advantage. And that is precisely what the world needs today. Not ideological rigidity, but coalitions that can cooperate across differences. We cannot deny that the ground beneath us is shifting. Globalization, as we knew it, is being rewritten, from efficiency to security, from free trade to friendly trade. Artificial intelligence is collapsing decades of progress into minutes and seconds, and green transition is repricing energy, carbon, and capital all at once. For ASEAN, this moment presents both risks and renewal. Risk, because fragmentation can erode our export advantage. Renewal, because diversification opens new corridors of growth. Investors today are no longer looking for just cheap labor or scale, but they are looking for reliability, for countries and regions that can manage uncertainty with competence. Here is ASEAN's opportunity to be the world's reliability hub in an age of volatility. Our geography has always been our gift, but we can turn geography into strategy. We sit between the Pacific and Indian Oceans at the crossroads of world trade routes. When global supply chains are rerouted, they do not bypass ASEAN. They pass through it. Our challenge now is to connect these dots for logistics, digital links, and standards so that Made in ASEAN becomes a unified signature of reliability and quality. Malaysia's own journey under the Economy Madani framework and the 13th Malaysia Plan aims precisely for that. Anchored on advancing high-value, high-tech sectors, scaling up MSME, and strengthening green and digital investments as part of ASEAN's shared path towards sustainable growth. Ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN's Digital Economy Framework Agreement, DEFA, targeted for completion next year, could well be one of our most transformative projects since the ASEAN Free Trade Area. Imagine a region where digital trade, payments, and data connectivity are seamless, where a fintech in Jakarta can serve customers in Manila or Kuala Lumpur without friction, where cybersecurity standards and privacy frameworks build mutual trust. But technology alone will not get us there. We need to cultivate digital trust, trust in governance, in cross-border data use, and in responsible application of AI. Malaysia's National AI Action Plan and My Digital are part and parcel of that ecosystem. Together with our ASEAN partners, we can ensure that the region is not a consumer of algorithms built elsewhere, but a producer of innovation built here. If digitalization is our next engine, then decarbonization is our next discipline. Climate change has stopped being a future threat. It is a present cost. Floods, droughts, and heat waves are reducing agricultural yields, straining budgets, and displacing communities. But this challenge is also our next competitive frontier. The global energy transition is not just an environmental agenda, it is an industrial one. ASEAN can lead in green manufacturing, renewable energy, and circular economy supply chains. Malaysia's National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, aligns with the ASEAN Power Grid, a project that can link our energy systems into a shared, resilient network. If we can execute this vision, ASEAN will not only cut carbon, it will cut costs, create jobs, and attract capital flowing into sustainable industries. This is how we move from extractive growth to regenerative growth, growth that restores what it uses and strengthens what it builds. Every transition, industrial, digital, or green, ultimately turns on one foundation: people. ASEAN's 680 million citizens are our greatest comparative advantage, but only if we invest in their potential. The region is young, dynamic, and ambitious, but also uneven in skills, in access, and in opportunity. We must turn that diversity into dynamism by recognizing skills across borders, building feedback and digital academies, and giving SMEs the tool to scale across ASEAN markets. Malaysia's own government-linked enterprise activation and reform program, DR, aims to crowd in private capital and institutionalize expertise to nurture emerging firms, strengthen innovation pipelines, and help our entrepreneurs compete at a regional scale. It reflects our belief that growth should not depend on the state alone, but also empowering capable hands across the economy. If this multi-crisis era has taught us anything, it has that market reward credibility and punish complacency. Financial cooperation, therefore, must deepen in parallel with trade and digital cooperation. The Chiang Mai Initiative, local currency settlements, and the ASEAN Infrastructure Fund are essential to this. A region that mobilizes its own liquidity, finances its own infrastructure, and manages its own crisis will no longer be seen as dependent. It will be seen as dependable. That is the hallmark of economic maturity: autonomy without isolation. Ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN does not suffer from a shortage of master plans, blueprints, and roadmaps for nearly everything. What we do need now is proof that regional integration can move faster than external shocks. That proof will come from pilots that deliver: a functioning ASEAN digital trade hub, a cross-border power grid that transmits and not just MOUs, and a supply chain accelerator that raises intra-ASEAN trade beyond If we succeed, the reward will be extraordinary. ASEAN could be the world's fourth largest economy by 2045. Its digital economy could double to $2 trillion by 2030. However, the true measure of ASEAN's success will not be in the size alone, but in how broadly our people share in its prosperity. The ASEAN collective middle class could reach 500 million people in a decade's time. Citizens who not only consume but create, who not only benefit from growth but contribute to it. This is not wishful thinking. It is within reach if we match ambition with execution, cooperation with credibility. For Malaysia, ASEAN is not a talking point in foreign policy, but a living framework of our economy, our markets, and our future. Nearly 2/3 of our trade and investments flow through this neighborhood. What happens in ASEAN does not stop at our borders. It flows through our supply chain, our small businesses, and the everyday lives of Malaysians. This is why Malaysia sees regional integration not as an abstract goal, but as the practical work of building trust, resilience, and shared prosperity across borders. When our neighbors grow stronger, our people benefit too, through jobs, investment, and stability that ripple through the region. Our Economy Madani vision is grounded in the same belief that national renewal must serve a larger purpose. By strengthening Malaysia's foundations from fiscal discipline to industrial competitiveness and social equity, we contribute to the region's collective credibility and long-term growth. Malaysia's ongoing fiscal discipline, from subsidy retargeting to fiscal governance, is about restoring confidence. Because when Malaysia is credible, ASEAN is stronger. And when ASEAN thrives, our people share in that stability and the opportunity. To all scholars, economists, analysts in this room, your work matters more than ever now. It is an age of noise. You are the custodians of clarity. You quantify uncertainty, challenge assumptions, and give shape to ideas that may otherwise only remain abstract. Keep challenging us on productivity, on physical space, on human capital, on governance. In doing so, you remind policymakers that economic integration is not an act of convenience, but of conviction. Ladies and gentlemen, every crisis in ASEAN's history has left us an institutional scar and innovation. The Asian financial crisis gave us regional safety nets. The pandemic gave us digital acceleration. Climate change is now giving us collective purpose. In ASEAN's story, crises are not endpoints. They are inflection points. So tonight, as we share ideas and laughter, let us also share a quiet confidence that ASEAN's best years are not behind us, but ahead of us. The future will not wait, but neither will ASEAN. Let us all move forward together towards a region that is more integrated, innovative, and inclusive, more than ever before. Thank you.